recording now. All right, Joe Benigno with you here, the Oda Pain Podcast, Friday, March the 3rd, 2023. Before I bring the coach in, we're sponsored, of course, by the Hackensack Brewing Company, Anita Discount Tire, and my good friends at DraftKings. And we welcome in the head coach of my team, the New York Jets, Robert Saleh. Coach, I can't believe you're on. Let's start with that.
No, Joe, I appreciate you inviting me, man. I've always, admire you from afar. A lot of people speak the world of you in this building, and it's fun listening to you. You're passionate, and it shows.
I appreciate it. I find it hard to believe that there's people in the building that speak highly of me, but we'll leave it at that for right now. No doubt. First of all, how's your stomach? You had a little stomach problem, right?
You know what? I was a funny story. So I'm out for the count. I've got 7 kids, and
I know.
The bug's gone around. It went to every single kid. I think my poor wife is the last of the Mohicans. She's just waiting to get it. And long story short, my little 5-year-old Mikey, he's got me wrapped around his pinky. He comes down every night about 3 in to come snuggle up and sleep next to me. And he came down to the bed. Obviously, I wasn't there, but our bathroom light's on. So he walks into the bathroom. He sees me just sprawled out on the floor, like, "What the heck is wrong with you?" And but it had me out for the count. But I'm good now.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I'm surprised you're not with Douglas in Indianapolis.
Yeah, you know what? With the new offensive staff and there's so many different things that we got to get done defensively, just studying our own personnel and all that stuff. We're still doing a lot of the different things. We're still holding the formals, but we're doing it from here via Zoom. And so we're still getting all the work done we normally would as coaches. We're just, instead of being able to just going over there and hanging out with each other and drinking and having a good time until those meetings, we're working home. But we're still accomplishing everything else that we need to accomplish via Zoom. We're sending our coaches out there who are working on the field. So, for example, our D-line coach, Aaron Whitecotton's out there working the field drills. So the 2 days that, are kind of a waste, we got a lot of work done with him here. And now so we're still getting everything we would have needed to get done. And we're just being a lot more efficient with our
time. I see. Now, first-round draft pick's got to be an offensive lineman, coach. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we have to take – I don't care if it's a center, if it's a guard, if it's a tackle. The offensive line, to me, has to be addressed number one. Is that what we're looking at here?
I'll tell you, if Joe D was sitting here, he'd probably kiss you right in the face because he'd take 52 linemen on the roster and 1 quarterback if he could. But no, we're going to study. There's a lot of different things that we need to accomplish on this team to make sure we're progressing. I feel like we made a really good jump the second year. Unfortunately, like you said, our offensive line I've never seen so much carnage at one position. And that was a big part of it. Losing Brees was a big part of it, and kind of derailed our second half. But for sure, that's part of it. There's still a lot of other things we still want to improve on defense. We still got to improve at our skill positions. We got to improve the quarterback position. So there's, and from an outside view, you can sit there and say, "God, it's O-line," but we're trying to make sure that we're judicious in the whole thing and making sure that we're taking the steps to improve the entire roster.
Where is you mentioned Brees, and look, let's be honest, Coach. I understand the quarterback situation, but the team was a different team without him. You only won 2 games after he got hurt. Where are we with him? I look at Barkley with the Giants. Saquon, it took him a couple years really to get back to being the guy he was before he got the injury. I mean, where are we right now with Brees Hall?
For sure. AVT too. Remember, it was the same game.
Oh yeah, right. Of course.
That Denver game was one of those games where
paid heavily for that win. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'll get to your answer or your question, but it reminded me of 2020 when the Niners, we came down here and played, and we lost Bosa, Solomon Thomas.
Right. I remember that. Yep.
In the locker room, it felt like we lost, even though we had won the football game. I'm not saying that's how it felt in Denver, but it was a heavy loss to lose those guys. But AVT and Brees are in the weight room every day. I see them. I'm about to go in a couple of hours and get my lift in, and they're in there every day. They're getting their rehab. I just saw Brees at breakfast. He looks fantastic. His head's in the right spot. Him and AVT are working their tails off, and so as of now, they're checking the boxes. I'm done putting predictions out there. I just know that they're working their tails off and things are progressing the right way. So excited about their mindset.
All right, the quarterback. I know you can't talk about Rodgers because he's under contract. I get it. But you can talk about Derek Carr. And I'm just going to tell you quickly. Look, I'm all for Rodgers, but I got to tell you, bro, if we could get Derek Carr in here, I mean, I would sign him before we lose him because the drop off after that is pretty heavy after that. I know you think Ryan Tannehill's good. I don't see that. I mean, to me, that's unacceptable. How soon do you think the quarterback situation is going to be resolved?
If you asked me last week, I would have thought it would have been this week. And so it's, I think everyone's kind of taking their time. Everyone understands how important this is, and not just from organizational standpoints.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking about all the teams in the NFL, but I think the players understand how important this is too. Where it's not a money grab. It's making sure it's the right fit. You look at a guy like Derek, who's 31. He's got a good 6-7 years left in him with the way he plays. He's been healthy his entire career. He's put up really good numbers, and he wants to make sure it's the right fit. And so I think everyone's going about this the right way. No one's acting on emotion. They're making sure they check every box. And I think when all of this comes together and wherever the quarterbacks end up, not just us, I think it's because the right things were done and the right discussions were had and the right decisions were made.
Talking to, of course, the head coach of the Jets, Robert Saleh. All right, I got to ask you a couple questions about the season. Okay, first, all my buddies. Okay, there's so many games, but I want to go to the second Patriot game. All right, in New England. All right, still got it. Please, I'm still sick. Why didn't you go to Mike White to start the second half in that game?
It's a good question. Zach was struggling. He wasn't really turning the ball over. He wasn't. He missed on a couple of throws, but we were right there. It's a really tight game, and we're playing good defense, and you just felt like if he could just find a way. And Zach traditionally has been a second half quarterback in terms of getting better as the game goes. And anytime it doesn't work out, you could always play the hindsight's 2020 game. And I look back at it too, and I look back at whether or not it could have been done, but it just at the time it didn't feel like it needed to be done. It felt like, God, we're just a possession away. Don't upset the apple cart and all that stuff. But like I said, anytime something doesn't work, I always, whether win or lose, I always go back and just play second guess and try to tell myself what would have happened. And that's the fun part of football. There's always the other side of the coin that never gets talked about, and it really gets magnified when you lose football games. But both those Patriot games, I'm with you. Feel like we should have won both of them, but credit to Bill. He's always found ways to win those games, and we're a young roster, and it's something that we've got to do. I've said it before. You've got to learn not to lose football games to become a winning football team, and those were two games where we definitely feel like we definitely lost them. And the positive is there's a lot of learning experience that was gained from both of them, especially that first one.
The first one you got hosed. Let's be honest. I mean, you can't say it, but I will. You got hosed in that game. I mean, I'm watching Michael Carter run down the side. I'm at the game, coach. I'm watching Michael Carter. He's running at me. I'm going delirious. I can't believe it.
Game's over.
Game's over. We're up 17-3. And then this brutal call on John Franklin Myers roughing the passer. And let's be honest, and I've said it all the time, because I know you can't. If Matthew Judon is hitting Zach Wilson with the same hit, and Devin McCourty is running down the sidelines 80 yards for a touchdown, there's no flag. And I don't know if you realize this. You guys did not get one roughing the passer call go your way all year. Do you know that? Not one.
No, there's mental notes on all of it, and but it goes back to you got to earn it, and I believe that, like, you got to earn the respect of the rest, because they come in with a preconceived notion that it's just the Jets, and that's.
No, I understand that.
And that's something that we're slowly. It was good to hear people pregame talking about how the organization and the players and how hard these guys play and the direction that we're going. And it stinks the last 6 games where we're last minute of every game where we had a chance to win games and just couldn't piece it together. But we're excited about the direction of the organization, and we're excited about the youth of our football team and the steps that they're taking. So it's fun because we know that we're not talking about, God, how do we keep all these old free agents? We're talking about developing all these young guys and keeping this band together for as long as we can. Like, you look at defensively, we're not talking about all these changes. We're trying to bring back Quinnen and a couple of our free agents, but we're not talking about having the 5 new players. We're talking about bringing back our own young guys, and that's what's exciting about the build that we're having.
Defense has got to start taking the ball away, coach. I'm telling you, right? I mean,
I
really,
agree.
2 turnovers in the last 8 games. Come on. I mean, it's unacceptable. And I got to watch every week. I get delirious. I got to watch every week the freaking Patriots scoring a defensive touchdown every week. I want to throw up. It makes me
Oh, I
because you
know.
got
There's
to take the ball away, coach.
100%. And you know what? It's something that we try to figure because we took it away in the first half of the year.
You did. Right.
We were, I can say we were unlucky, but in the second half, I think Sauce is going to figure out how to take the ball. I've told him 20 PBUs is really 20 missed stops, and but he's phenomenal. It's just my way of messing.
Tremendous.
But he'll learn how to take the ball away. Again, young football team, experienced teams take the ball away. Young football teams disrupt the ball and all that stuff, and I think it's kind of, like in San Francisco, when we were really, really young in 2018, we never took the ball away. And then the next year, as we gained a little bit more experience, Fred Warner got into his second year. We got Quan Alexander.
Right.
Gord Sherm was coming off the Achilles, so he was a little bit healthier. We ended up taking, I'm sure we had 4 takeaways the first game. So it's a combination of experience, putting pressure on the other offense to feel like they need to do something to keep pace with our offense. And when you combine those two, it becomes an explosion. I think Jim Harbaugh said it once, like an olive jar. You take one olive out, and they all come out falling afterwards. So they come in bunches. But you're 100% right. We got to take the ball away. We got to give the offense short fields, and it's something that we're very conscious. We've been looking at what can we do coverage wise, where can we take advantage of it, how aggressive can we teach our corners to jump stuff, safeties, all that stuff. So part of the discussion.
Talking to the coach of the Jets, of course, Robert Saleh. Really appreciate you giving me the time, coach. I can't tell you. I want to go another one of my favorite games of the year, the second Buffalo game. Okay, the game turns around when C.J. Mosley jumps offside on 4th down. When everybody knows, I mean everybody. Okay, my wife knows they're not running a play here. This guy jumps offside, and I got to tell you, I was upset with you because I think you were a little soft on Mosley. You defended him in the post-game press conference, and I was upset by that. I mean, see, let me just say this too, and I'm going to set this up, preface this with this. My one concern with you is I get the impression, and maybe I'm wrong because I'm not in the locker room, that you're a little too soft on the plays. How about that?
No, that's fair question. I think our players work their tails off. I do. And it's like your house. You're never going to want dirty laundry aired outside your house.
Right.
So what we talk about in this building, I will never, from a negative standpoint, I'm never going to talk about outside this building. So so players, I think, feel the accountability when they're in this building, but I'm not about to embarrass anybody out in the public eye. That's just not who I am. It's not my style. But when we're in the safety of our team room, where we're amongst each other, everything's going to be laid on the table, and we're going to talk about everything. Everything gets talked about, and that's just my style. And I learned that from being with Pete Carroll and Kyle Shanahan and all the different people that I've met, Gary Kubiak, all the people that I've been with. You don't air your dirty laundry. Family doesn't air their dirty laundry outside the house, and so we keep everything. We try our best to keep everything in house, and I tried my best to, because at the same time, like a player is putting their, I'm not saying they're putting their life on the line, but they're putting their body. I mean, it is painful to be an NFL football player, and they put their heart and soul into this game and their preparation, especially a guy like C.J. Mosley. I will go to war with C.J. Mosley, and he without saying cast the first stone. And did he make a mistake? Sure, but I look at it too, like I should have called timeout when I saw it happen. There's a lot of things I could have done, but I'll defend C.J. Mosley because for every mistake he might make, he does 20 unbelievable things that you can't coach and saves our ass a whole bunch of times. So why would I ever put him on blast in the public eye anyway?
You should have called timeout at the end in the last minute of the Lion game too, Coach. I mean,
I screwed that one up.
You
Joe.
really you did.
I overthought it. I overthought the situation. Because I have rules like that one's an easy one. Call it 45 seconds left. You bang a timeout, and so I look back at that one. I played for downs instead of time, and but 100%. And it was one of those ones where I didn't even think about it until I had a visit with our game management guy. The next morning, we were reviewing the 2-minute situation and my role in it, and I was discussing it with him, what I was going through, what my thought process was, and he just explained, just in that, he said, in those situations, coach, you really want to bang the timeout. We're not playing for downs, because it was either third. I thought they missed the
first down call,
yeah,
down mark.
I thought they would review it and give us 3rd and 1, but the reality is it doesn't matter. If we can't get a 3rd and 1, then we shouldn't be going. Shouldn't win the football game anyway. But so I look back at that one. That was we still got a field goal off, but it sure would have been nice to have one more play to see if we can get about 5 yards closer. And so 100%, I should have been better in that situation.
Do you get involved? And this was always a big knock with Rex, and I thought Rex was a good coach for us and all of that, but I thought Rex was not involved enough with the offense. Do you get involved? I mean, are you involved with the offense? I mean, if you see, LaFleur last year or Hackett coming up this year, maybe calling a play that you don't like that play. Maybe we should be running the ball. I think you guys get away from the run too much as well. But anyway, maybe we should be running the ball here when they're always pass happy, these offensive coordinators. Do you get involved in that? I mean, you say, hey, wait a minute, I don't like this play call. How about that?
So it depends on the situation, because and it's something I learned from Kyle Shanahan. Because Kyle would challenge me as a defensive guy, but he never really wanted to get in to overdo it, where I changed my philosophy and completely change the scheme to appease him, because there's going to be holes where it's like, God, I'm involved with the defense and I know what's going on offense, but I don't want to mess up what you guys are really trying to achieve. And but there might be situations where it's you're in a 4-minute situation, and like the Miami game, game's over, it's 3rd down, if you remember it, and you might want to, hey, it's 3rd and 12. I don't give a shit. Just run the ball. Game's over. They don't have enough possessions. We'll be able to kick the field goal. Now, what ended up happening is Brees got the 1st down, and then the game truly was over.
Right.
So situations like that, or if you're feeling it, like, should just do it again. But you're trying not to mess with the play caller too much. There's a lot of debriefing. So I am involved with the offense. Hey, why'd you guys do this? Here's what I see on defense. This is what we could have done. Studying offensive, going through the week. Hey, I see what you guys are trying to do this defensive structure. I do think if you do 1, 2, 3, so there is involvement. But I'm trying to be more challenging the thought process to see if I could kind of trigger something for them without being, hey, this is what you have to do. And now whatever I'm telling them to do doesn't really mesh with what they're trying to do. And then it just creates this jumbled mess on offense, if that makes sense to you.
It makes sense. I get nuts. I really think that too much. And I'm not just saying, LaFleur or, we'll see what Hackett is. But I just watching football in general, the NFL in general. I mean, these offensive coordinators, they can't wait to throw the ball, coach. It makes me nuts. I mean, no, seriously. I mean, it's 3rd and 1. We just got 8. This is the best, okay? We get 7 or 8 yards on 1st down with a run. Now it's 2nd and 2, and they can't wait to throw. God forbid you run again, because you got to throw the ball, and then all of a sudden it's incomplete. Now it's 3rd and 2, and you don't get the 1st down, and you got to punt. How often that happens? A lot. Now, I'm not just saying our team. I see that all over the league, coach.
It's a league-wide pandemic. Joe, you know what? You're a defensive guy, Joe. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
No, I am. I tell you, seriously, to me, it's all, everybody gets crazy about the quarterback. Let's be honest, coach.
Yeah.
But if you don't have a big-time defense, you're not going to win. I mean, the Chief defense doesn't get the credit it deserves. Guys like Chris Jones is probably the best defensive tackle in football. I mean, I know Quinnen's getting close. By the way, you got to pay him too, but that's another story. But you know what I mean? I mean, if you don't play defense in this league, you don't win. I mean, the Baltimore Ravens won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer as their quarterback because they had the best defense there ever was, pretty much. The Bucks in 2002, they had Brad Johnson as the quarterback. They won a Super Bowl because of their defense. So, our defense is close, but we got to take the ball over.
We got to take the ball. But no, you hit the nail on the head. There's an old saying, and people will say, well, it's old school thinking, but it's still football. That 3 things travel. Doesn't matter the weather. Doesn't matter the field.
Right.
It's your run game, your defense, and your special teams. those three travel. They're the most consistent parts of your football team. And if you can build those, you can win a lot of football games. And we were doing it. We were doing it. And then Brees and ABT went down, and we lost some more guys on the offensive line, and we just couldn't keep that run game going like we did in the first half of the year. But there's also a mentality from a coaching staff standpoint to keep your foot in the pedal with regards to running the ball and making it who you are. And but you're right. You can win. We did it in San Francisco. Jimmy threw the ball, I think 22 times in the playoff games combined.
Right.
And we made it to the Super Bowl, and we're one play away from winning it all. But you're right. You can win, but when you do find that quarterback, then you change philosophies and you put it on his shoulders and you roll. But you'd probably argue there's only about 5 guys that are capable of that in the NFL at any given generation. But you're right. It's everything is chasing this idea that everything has to be on the quarterback's shoulders when you can win a lot of football games by having very good quarterback play along with a solid run game, great defense, and great special teams.
Is Zach salvageable?
I believe so. I do. He's still young, Joe. He's 23. He got thrown in the fire as a rookie. Last year, he misses a crucial part of training camp where we're scrimmaging against the Giants, and
right.
Misses some valuable time in those parts. Atlanta misses the Atlanta scrimmages. Misses the first 3 games. He plays well. I thought he played really well in that fourth quarter against Pittsburgh. I thought he had a really good game against Miami. And then after the Green Bay and Denver games, it just wasn't. Something happened. New England, obviously, the second half of the New England, he was balling in the first half of that New England game. And then the second half of the New England game just didn't go the way we wanted, obviously. And then I thought he was efficient against Buffalo. But, I think as he gains confidence and he regained, and like we talked about with this reset, we're not ready to cash in on him at all. His arm talent is undeniable. He works his tail off at it. He's a good young man. And, just to allow him to kind of just take a deep breath. There's a lot of guys in this league who have needed time, and to say he's the throwaway after just 2 years, I think you're doing yourself an injustice as an organization, and you're basically throwing away what could be a really, really good football player. Different position, but I look at guys on our roster like Quincy Williams, who was cut from Jacksonville, and now he's
good player. Quincy is a good player, real good. He's all over the field, Quincy.
Yeah, and he comes into our system. He's a good player, So, and I think it goes all over the league. You can see examples where guys just don't hit the ground running, and we're so quick to judge in this league. It takes discipline and as a coaching staff, a confidence that you have to put your agenda, so that as a coach, it's like, God, if I don't win, I'm going to get fired, right? Well, it's not about that. My commitment is to the player. Our commitment is to the player. We got to do everything, whether we're here or not. Our commitment is to the player to get him to where we think he can go. And if we're blessed to be here, great. If not, then we did everything we could for the player to get to where he needed to go. And it takes a strong discipline to be able to do that and know that you're going to take your lumps with young guys. And so when you talk about a guy like Zach, because he's the most magnified, because he is the quarterback, we're not even close to saying, God, he's just not salvageable. I think he is, and I think he's going to be a good player in this league.
And let's be honest, the division's wide open. I mean, Buffalo took a step down. They just lost Leslie Frazier, their defensive coordinator.
I know. I won't say it because I love Leslie. He's a good man.
Yeah, I'm happy he's going, because that just hurts the Bills. I mean, right? Miami's not any good. Let's be honest, they stink even with Tua. The coach is, I know he's your buddy, but he's very overrated, McDaniel. The Dolphin fans all love him. I don't think he's any good. They should have beat Buffalo in the playoff game, please.
I know.
Tyler Thompson, they should have won.
We should have beat him. We should have beat him in the second, the end of the year. We just.
Why didn't you play Zach? And I'm glad. I wasn't going to bring that game up, but I'm going to now. Why did you play Flacco? Why didn't Zach play in that game?
It's it wouldn't have done Zach any good. I'm telling you, there's Zach need to just get away. Like I said in your press conference, he just needs to get away. And it was just one of those games where I just wasn't. I felt like what happened after the Thursday night game, there's just nothing was going to be gained out of it. And for Zach, so to allow to be the backup, watch some football. Let's get him to the offseason as quickly as possible, so we can help get him back to where we think he can be and just help him grow. That was basically the mindset behind it.
What a disaster that Jaguar game was. Oh my gosh. So I'm at that game. It's in the rain. The weather is terrible. I'm all pumped up. Quinn enforces that turnover on Lawrence right away. We get the ball. And then when they don't score the touchdown, coach, I knew we were dead. I got to tell you, when we didn't score a touchdown there, I'm like, we're dead. We're going to lose this game. I knew immediately. What happened? It was a disaster that game.
I still felt good about it, but I'll give Jacksonville credit. They did a really, really nice job staying patient against our defense, and just they ate up a lot of clock. They moved the ball. They scored only 19 points, but they were, Trevor was doing a lot of damage with his legs, and thought they did a really nice job offensively. And then defensively, they just got after us up front, and, which it all comes back to. If a quarterback can sit back there and play 7-on-7, then shit, it's easy for a lot of quarterbacks. But if a quarterback is under duress, and it felt like we were pretty much under duress the entire game, and again, another one of those games where we could have been better to try to find ways to run the ball. We just couldn't get it going, and I'm disappointed. But again, I look back at that one too, like what could I have done differently during the course of the week in preparation to give these guys to maybe we were just a little bit tired, whatever it was, deflated from Detroit. I have no idea, just trying to study it so we can approach this season and take steps to improve in those situations.
Talking to the head coach of the Jets, Robert Saleh. Coach, I can't thank you enough for coming on and dealing with my insanity, because there's plenty of that, especially when it comes to this football team.
I love it.
I got to see one more. I tell everybody this. I was 15 years old on January 12th, 1969, when we won our only Super Bowl. Thank God I saw it. I'm going to be 70 in September, and I haven't seen another one. Okay, so before I leave this earth, I need one more.
You know what?
My wife's laughing. I need one more, Coach.
I got the one in Seattle. Was one play away in.
They should have. Oh, please! Pete Carroll blew that game. Give the ball to Marshawn, will you, please? Right. Come on, Coach. Give the ball to Marshawn. All right.
But that's part of what New England does. They force you to throw the ball down there. They're not going to let you run it in. But maybe. And then San Francisco. But to be honest, that's the goal. You don't come to these things thinking, God, if we could just have a winning record and make a playoffs, that'd be great. I talk to Joe all the time. Joe D, we're in lockstep. We want to win a championship. Woody wants to win a championship, and bring a trophy back to New York. And that's all anyone thinks about. That's all we're trying to get done. And we make the decisions that we think are the best for the organization, that gets us in those, gets us moving in that direction. We feel like we've done a lot of really cool things the last 2 years, but that son of a gun is hard to win. And but hopefully we can get take some more steps to knock that door down and make something happen.
Now, you always talked about when you came in, you talk about the Niner model, and the first 2 years in San Francisco with Shanahan were not great, weren't good years. And then the third year, you took off, like you said, you made it to the Super Bowl. You lost a tough game. You're up by 10 in the fourth quarter against the Chiefs, and Mahomes did his thing. Jimmy also missed an open guy in the end zone too. That was a big play in that game.
We should have locked it up on defense.
Yeah, no question about it. But you always talk about that. So this is year 3 coming up, Coach. So, and the especially if you come up with Aaron Rodgers as the quarterback, the expectation level is going to be off the charts. How about that?
No, you'd like to think year 3. It's year 3 in the systems and all that stuff, and so for sure there's always expectations. There's always pressure to win. There's always, I felt it our first year. It's right. There is no building. It's everyone wants to win now, and they're because you see other teams doing it, and it's. Every team's circumstances are a little bit different, but we want the expectations. We want all that pressure. We want to be relevant, and I think that's what's exciting about this organization right now, is that for the first time in a while, it's relevant. People are talking about it in the right way. It's not the joke of the NFL, and that's what's exciting. But at the same time, the offseason doesn't win Super Bowls. You still gotta go to work. Acquiring different players doesn't win Super Bowls. It's coming to work, gelling together, finding ways to get yourself moving in the right direction, being sound as a coaching staff, and understanding what you're asking out of the players, and the players understanding what's being asked out of them. And felt like we were about to knock that playoff door down this year, like I said. But we got tested with injuries, and especially on the offensive side of the ball. But I'm just excited. I don't worry about expectations because I think they're warranted. When you have expectations, it means you're doing something right. And we got the right group of guys in the locker room. We just got to continue to add and develop, and just excited about 23 and what it has to offer.
Is Mekhi Becton going to be the starting right tackle, whatever side he's on? Is he going to be starting opening day for the Jets?
We'll see. He is he's back down to his combine weight. He looks fantastic. He's working his tail off. He's local, which is great. Working with his new agent, and he's saying all the right stuff. He's really attacking it, and he has a different feel to him than he has had in the 2 years that I've been here. And so he looks. So I don't know what it's going to be. I'll never make a promise I can't keep, but if he keeps this going, we all know his talent level. He'll be tough to keep off the field.
And Garrett Wilson's tremendous. By the way, it's the first time, I'm just going to tell you this. I got a lot of Jet jerseys. Okay, I got a lot of them. Okay, it's the first time in years that I bought a Jet jersey of a guy actually playing on the team now, and it was between Garrett and Sauce. And I went with Garrett because they didn't have the Sauce in white, and they had Garrett in white, and I wanted white. So I got that. How good is this guy? I mean, this guy is with no quarterback, 3 different quarterbacks. I mean, it was unbelievable. 4 with Strebler, 4.
He's got this gumbiness and this awkwardness to his route running that makes him very difficult to defend. And then you add in his mindset. I mean, the guy would, if he was playing his mother in chess, he'd want to kill her. If his mother lined in front of him, he's going to try to and get some stuff. Like, he just has that mind. He doesn't care. And he's got a killer instinct to him. That's what makes him special. Him and Sauce both just have a killer instinct to their game. And it's a big reason why we took them. You guys hear me all the time talk about character and love of football. They are the epitome of character and love of football. And I think that correlates. People win over talent. And those two happen to have talent along with being unbelievable people.
One more.
I got to get you a Sauce jersey, man.
What's that?
You got to get you a Sauce jersey.
Hey, tell Gelfand to send it over.
Let's do a Sauce jersey, man.
I want white, Eric. I need white.
We'll get a white.
And really, none of this. Let me say this too. Do we need these stupid black jerseys? Please just burn them. There's no black in the jersey. Please, green or white.
You're always
You don't make the call on this. I understand that.
No.
I mean, and let me tell you too. Just quickly, the first Patriot game, you guys are winning all these games wearing the white jerseys, right? Okay, so the first Patriot game, we got to wear black. Got to wear black jerseys. What is this? Come on.
You don't like the black? I kind of like the black. The black is smooth. It's all that. Look at me. I'm always.
Well, you look. Yeah, okay. Well, in the sweat, you look good. But I mean, this is our colors. We're green. No, the green we're white. You know what I mean, Coach? I mean, this is it.
I hear you. No, it's I'll tell the equipment guys, but I don't really get to make those decisions. I do got a question for you though, real quick.
Go ahead. Go.
I heard you're an avid golfer.
Avid golfer. How about this? I'm gonna tell you this. All right. Now I'm not any good. All right. I'm not a good golfer.
We all stink.
Right. We all stink. My wife's a very good golfer, by the way. She's good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I have. This is no lie. 3 holes in one. 3.
No kidding.
Yep. Can you believe that? And I don't deserve to have to. I'm not good enough to have 3 holes in one, and I do. Believe it or not.
I have none. I've come within an inch on a couple, but I keep. And it's funny. The last round of my year, which happens right before training camp, the last par 3, I always tell myself, please God, just one time.
Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so you were asking me about golf. So we got to play. So we.
I would love to. I'd love to.
I can set it up. You could come up by me. I can come down by you.
What do you think? So are you in Long Island?
No, I'm in Jersey. What
part of Jersey?
I'm in Mahwah, New Jersey. I'm in northern New Jersey. Yeah.
We'll definitely set
I'm 40 minutes from you in Florham Park. Are you living in Florham Park? Is that where you live?
Yeah, right in that area.
Right.
So no, I know where you're at. We'll figure something out for sure. I'd love to. I won't play with. I'm an avid golfer just like you. Not to be confused with Worth a Damn, but
right. Well,
I've been fortunate. I got to play all those Long Island courses, and I get to play Bedminster and the local courses around here.
Right.
It's been. This is like the mecca for golf, being in this Jersey area. It's unbelievable. Got Pine Valley my first year, which was
right.
What's the best course you played in the area? You get to play them all too, or?
I play a lot of the courses up here. I mean, one of my favorite courses is up in Rockland County, Blue Hill. Okay, great course. Got 3 9s there. It's terrific. Right near me, down the road here, Paramus, which is a terrific course. In fact, it's open. It's unbelievable. You realize I have actually played. My wife and I have played like 6 or 7 times already this year with the weather. We've played a few times already.
I love that you can play with your wife. I've been trying to get my wife lessons to golf, but every time
Well, she's got all these kids, coach. I mean,
she's gotten every time I got her lessons, she got pregnant.
Well, that's probably your fault, coach. I mean,
when I'm sleeping, Joe, she gets me.
Yeah. No, but I would love to play golf. When do you what training camp starts when? You're talking about training camp or about the OTAs you're talking about?
No, OTA. So as soon as it warms up, I've been getting lessons, and I'll shoot you a text of I built a simulator in our house. It's pretty cool.
Really?
But as soon as it warms up, I'll be out there. It's my way of bonding with my kids too. So every day I take one kid, go play 9. It's just me and that kid, and we'll just hit the ball around, and I take them home. And with 7 of them, it's hard to find ways to get.
What's the ages, coach?
12 to 1. 5 boys, 2 girls, 12 to 1. So it's usually the 5 oldest I'll take with me. The 2 youngest don't know any different right now. But so I go out there, and it's like my way of going fishing, if you will. And so as soon as it warms up, I'll be out there with the kiddos.
Well, I'll give you a buzz or whatever. We'll see. I'll get you.
Sure, I'd love to set something up. I think it'd be fun.
Definitely do that. We have to do that. Well, before I let you go, tell Gelfand to send me that Source Gardner jersey.
Done.
All right.
Done. I promise.
Even if it's you tell him this too. Even if it's the black one, I'll take it. All right.
We'll get you a white one. I appreciate this, Joe. Terry, thank you so much for helping us set this up.
Yeah, come here, get my wife in here to say goodbye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. This is a pleasure, and I love that you two go golfing together. I think that's so cool.
She's good, coach. You got to see her. Let me tell you, she's better than me. She's pretty good golfer.
I bet. No, I think
no
it's
holes in
really
one
cool.
though.
That's really cool. So, but I really appreciate it. Anytime, Joe. And really thank you for this.
Coach, thank you. I appreciate it, man. You take care now, all right? Be well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, before we go, before we stop recording, again, we just want to thank Coach Robert Saleh for joining us. Let me just run down again the sponsors. Again, I want to thank my sponsors, of course, the Hackensack Brewing Company. You know the deal. We'll keep you posted on when the next time we're going to do the live podcast at the Brewing Company, probably sometime in April. We'll give you the official time coming up soon. But go check them out. You know the story on Hackensack Brewing Company. Check out the tap room, 4:30 to 10, Monday through Friday, 2 to 10, Saturday, 12 to 8. On Sunday, 78 Johnson Avenue in Hackensack. Check out my Eau de Pain beer. And we're also going to have an Eau de Pain beer with the Met colors on it as well coming up. Check them out. Anita Discount Tire. See my son Johnny. See Ari. They're in Rivervale, New Jersey, Westwood Avenue. Go check them out. You need tires. You need work on your car. That's the way to go. Tell them I sent you. And of course, my buddies at DraftKings. Any betting you're going to be doing, when you're betting the college with the NCAA tournament coming up, the NBA, whatever it is, the hockey, Patrick Kane making his debut, even though the Rangers lost last night. Whatever the golf, all of that. Bet on John Rahm because you don't lose anymore. He's leading right now again at the Bay Hill down in Florida, Arnold Palmer's tournament. So whatever. You're going to bet, DraftKings is the way to go. All right. Again, I want to thank Coach Robert Saleh. Everybody have a tremendous weekend. Enjoy it. I'll be back on Monday for the normal podcast. And as always, all the love. I'm going to take a shower now.